And last item, we remain deeply concerned by the increasing violence and bloodshed in eastern Ukraine, which has resulted from a surge in Russia-backed separatist attacks against the ceasefire line and what appears to be a general offensive in complete violation of the Minsk agreements. Ukraine has implemented ceasefire after ceasefire, but the Russia-backed separatists have responded with violence, carrying out 1,000 attacks since early December, resulting in the deaths of 262 people in the last 9 days. Russia is actively supporting the separatists by supplying them with heavy weaponry and vehicles, including tanks, armored personnel carriers, and heavy artillery pieces, as well as providing military personnel who are exercising ongoing tactical support. Not only have we seen no commitment by the separatists or Russia to implement the January 22nd Berlin Statement on upholding the Minsk Agreement, separatist leaders have publicly stated their intention today to take more territory. We again call on Russia to denounce its separatist patrons, withdraw all support to them, and stop the flow of heavy weapons, fighters, and advisors, and restore Ukraine's control along its side of the international border and allowing OSCE monitoring all along both sides of the border. Russia holds the keys to peacefully resolving a conflict that started and bears a responsibility to end the violence, which has devastated the lives of so many innocents in Donetsk and Luhansk. And I have a meeting I have to go to at 2, so let's just get to as many as we can. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I'm sure we'll get back to Ukraine a little bit later, but I want to start with the travel announcement.
Sure.
Because I'm a little confused. Yesterday,
Thanks.
can we stay on roughly on the subject? I'm just wondering if you have on Ukraine. You had some pretty strong comments at the top, and I wanted to know if you had any further information about the bus incident.
I don't have any further information, no.
Okay, and do you know, and I suppose that this is probably better addressed to Secretary
Oh, I
Kerry.
do have one thing. This may have been out there, Matt, but I didn't talk about it yesterday. Yesterday's report from the OSCE established a trolley bus was likely destroyed by a mortar or rocket coming from a northwestern direction. Based on this information alone, it is impossible to definitively conclude who is responsible. Obviously, we would condemn, of course, the attacks, the impact on the local population, and certainly we continue to call on all sides to take every precaution to prevent the loss of lives.
Do you know if Secretary Kerry has any Ukraine-related meetings,
Bilateral meetings?
phone calls?
Let me see if there are any calls.
I mean, just your comments at the top were quite strong, and it evinced a more particular concern, perhaps, than you have had in the past about the situation. So,
As you know, he met with EU High Representative Mogherini yesterday, and certainly they talked
right,
about.
I mean, with Russian or Ukrainian officials.
He doesn't have any calls I have to read out. He's also had a pretty back-to-back schedule over the course of the last 2 days. Do you have any more in Ukraine before we continue? New topic? Happy Friday? Go ahead. Go ahead in the back.
Sorry, very
Sure.